Hola people, ¿cómo están? Welcome to the first episode of the Daylight Show with me, Tao Figueroa. I hope you are doing as well as me. And today's episode, I will interview a person who I've known for a while. She's a good friend of mine, and she's the person who helps everybody. Welcome to the Director of International Programs of Agritech Northeast, Sarah Rose Rodriguez.
Hi, good morning.
How are you, Sarah?
Good, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me this
Thanks
morning.
for being here. So, ¿cómo estás, Sarah? How are you this morning?
Oh, not bad. Yeah, getting ready for a busy week as usual this week at work. So.
Yeah, I know, it's Monday, everybody's working. Yeah, this interview will focus on your laboral background and different aspects about your job. I will do my best to don't go to anything personal. In case it happens, you can skip the question and we can move on to the next one.
Okay.
So, Sarah, may we begin this interview?
Yes, let's begin.
So, I've been on you for a year ago, and somehow I know what your job about. But as my audience doesn't know you well, could you tell us what's your job about?
Sure. So as the Director of International Programs here at Ivy Tech, I'm responsible for helping students from start to finish. And so that includes recruiting students, admitting students, helping them enroll, as well as support them with immigration support and other resources on campus, and then helping them transfer or complete their degree here. So I typically work with F and J students. Those are students who are here on student visitor visas or a student visa. And then I also help other non-resident students. So anyone who's really not a U.S. citizen or not a permanent resident can come to my office to receive assistance.
So mostly international students come to you.
Yes, a lot of international students. Mm-hmm.
So now that we know what's your role in this school, let's switch the topic a little bit. And I hear that you don't want to study at college, which is ironic because you're working in one of them.
That's true.
Could you tell us how that happened?
Sure. So when I graduated high school, I had planned on moving to Mexico, and I really didn't want to go to college. I thought I would move to Mexico and I would stay there, and that was it. So, but I had a scholarship to a community college, so I didn't have to pay anything for my schooling. And so my parents told me I should go and study at least for 2 years. And so I did that. And actually, it was the best decision that I made to go and study for those 2 years. After the 2 years, then I went to Mexico, and I lived there for a little while.
What part of Mexico did you go?
I lived in the northeast part of Mexico. It's a city called Monterrey.
Oh, I know.
It's a pretty big city.
Yeah, pretty big city, pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. And so after a few years, I decided to move back to the U.S., and then when I did, I completed my bachelor's degree.
So your parents kind of made you go to school? They obligate you?
They did, but it was a good decision. I mean, they were wise in making me go, so I appreciate that my parents were good about making me go to school.
Oh, that's nice. And how did you, after you started studying college, how did you decide to do international students, to work in international students?
Yeah, it wasn't something I had planned on, but during my time in Mexico, I worked with a number of different people from other countries, and I also was able to travel quite a bit. So I traveled to Cuba and Thailand, Malaysia, China, and a number of other countries. And so during that time, I had opportunity to feel what it's like to be in a different country and not know anybody or not know the language or not know where to find things. And so I think that gave me kind of a unique perspective of how our students feel when they come here, not knowing where to go and not having family to rely on. And so when the opportunity opened up here in Fort Wayne at another school for me to work with international students, I was really excited because I knew kind of that transition that people went through, and I also wanted to be able to help them have a great experience here in the U.S.
Somehow you became international student and you say, hey, I want to do that.
Yeah.
International students.
Yeah. I feel like I can connect with them or at least understand where they came from, that experience that they will have when they come here. And so I kind of want to give that opportunity for them to have a smoother transition when they come, to make sure that they have what they need and they don't feel lost or alone or scared or things like that.
So now that we're talking about your job, and everybody who has worked before has something to like, something you hate. Could you tell us what are the things that you like the most?
So most of what I like about my job is the opportunity to work with students, the opportunity to help them, to answer questions, to give them resources, sometimes to connect them with other people, whether that's other internationals or other Americans. But that's probably, I would say, my favorite part of my job is working with the students and helping them.
And what are the things that you hate?
Oh, the things I hate. Well, thankfully it's not a long list of things, but
That's good.
but I do say that the paperwork, doing the paperwork for files and getting all the paper organized, that's probably my least favorite thing about my job.
Oh, that's good. So it's not too much to hate, just
Not too much.
paper.
Maybe if I had somebody else do the paperwork, that'd be great.
Oh.
I can do it. It just takes me a while, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah,
I'd rather meet with the students and help them, talk with them, or answer their questions or phone calls. So.
I see. That's nice that you don't really hate a lot of things in your job. So that means that you really enjoy what you do.
I do, yeah.
You just thought that there's something you hate and something that you like. Have you ever experienced any challenge in your job?
Sure. Actually, there are quite a few challenges. Some that are easy to fix and other ones that take a while. So, for example, here, and I think it's true with any job, there's often times where you have to work or cross different departments or with other people that maybe don't see things the same way you do. And so working across that is really sometimes a challenge, or trying to get people on board with the ideas that I'd like to pursue with international students can be a challenge. Sometimes too with budget, we don't have a lot of budget here to work with, and so some of the things I would like to do with my job I'm not able to do just because we don't have the finances for that. But I would say that a lot of these things we can either work around or we can find some other solutions for. So it's not impossible, it's just a challenge to try to figure out, which I do enjoy challenges, so it's not a bad thing to experience different challenges here at work.
That's true, so we should find a way to figure it out.
Yep, exactly.
As last question, this is more of a message coming from from your experience.
Sure.
But if any of my audience would like to study or work in something that you do, what would you recommend them?
There's a couple of things that I would recommend. One is to connect with international students here on campus. So we have quite a few students who are not from originally the U.S. And so that is close to about 300 total non-resident students. So if you want to connect with some students from different countries, that would be your best bet. Also, if you could travel, if the students could travel to other countries, I think that would give you a unique experience. But one other thing that I would say here, which would be really important, is if you want to do something like I do or you're interested in this field, try to shadow someone who does the work. If you can watch what they do day in, day out, you'll find if it's something you can really do or you don't feel like you can do. And so I would invite you, if you're interested, you can come and spend a day with me in my office. You can see how I interact with the students, how I assist other departments, how I process that paperwork, and all the other things that I do day in, day out. So feel free to contact me if you're interested in shadowing or doing something like that.
Now, people, you want to be like Sarah or do something similar, just contact her and she will be able to help you. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate your time. I appreciate that you gave me your time to interview you, and I appreciate your honesty with me. Thank you for giving me a chance to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. That's it, people. I hope you like this interview as much as I did, and I hope you learned something from this. I'm tavoalceda. This was the Daylight Show with me. See you next time.
This program was sponsored by Ivy Tech, Changing Lives. The reporter told your story.